And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RickCast. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday, the 9th of July, 2025. We've got a great show for you as always. I'm glad you guys are stopping by, taking some time out of your day to hang out with me. Little old me, as the phrase goes. But hey, I appreciate you guys being here. So we have a pretty decent show for a Did I say Tuesday? I meant Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Did I do my rosary today? I don't think I did. I'm gonna have to do that when I get home. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I'm trying to figure out what I did during the day, and the answer is no. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's my deal, not yours. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. I said it was Tuesday, but it's actually not. So let's see. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Found the Epstein list. It was under Hillary and Fauci's jail cell. Excellent. Excellent. Ah, yes. Sliding into home base, my friend. Good to have you. Good to have you. You see, that's a problem. Hopefully, it's a little brighter tonight, but that's because I've got all the lights blasted up to 100 or as high as they go, but you can't really see my chalkboard. So I got to get a better overhead light. It'll all come together, but it's good. So today we are talking about the CEO of X, Linda, whatever her face or about name. She's stepping down because apparently Grok, just as a language learning model, became super right wing. It was actually kind of funny. So she just stepped down. Didn't even say like, "Oh, that was interesting. We'll fix the problem going forward." She just quit. She's like, "I'm done with this. I'm quitting," which is an interesting response to go to. So that was pretty intense. The fact that she just kind of like left. Yes, by the way, if you see this tonight, let's just get this out of the way. This is a delicious Dr. Pepper Zero because I'm in Texas, and Texas always goes with Dr. Pepper Zero, even though they have the really bad Jurassic World promotion. Like there's a part in the movie where a little girl hides in like a Dr. Pepper freezer. Hey man, product placement's product placement. I wish y'all backed a different movie, but I think they've been doing all the Dr. Peppers. I don't know. I find Dr. Pepper Zero to be delicious, and it has 0 calories and 0 carbs and 0 sugar. So it's gonna kill you with aspartame. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm 40. I'm going to be 44 in a month. At this point, I'm kind of crossed the threshold of, well, it's going to kill you. Okay, whatever. So it is what it is. Yes. So the CEO of X just steps down. Grok goes a little right wing, and she's like, "I'm out of here." This crowd, my bar rats are probably going to be a little bit more interested in the second story of the day, and that is the San Bernardino Bishop has apparently just said like, "Hey, illegal, criminal alien trespassers, you don't have to come to mass." Yep. I'm afraid for your safety. I don't want ICE to pick you up at mass, so I'm giving you a dispensation, which is just like, oh, holy virtue signal, Batman. Really? Really? That is pretty impressive. And we'll get into that. I'm sure this group will have a lot of fun when we talk about that. And then finally, South Park is in a little bit of trouble, not because of the show, but because of the merger between Skydance and Paramount. They're like 6 or 7 shows behind. And South Park is a very timely show. They get their shows done usually in about 6 days, which is why they can be uh so on the nose. So they're getting a little upset because of the fact that, hey man, we we need to get these episodes out. They're not going to be timely anymore if you guys keep holding them up. So we'll talk about that as well. I got 2 amazing warm-up acts for you guys. I think you guys are absolutely going to love them. So We are going to enjoy those as well. It's going to be a good Wednesday night. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Yeah, it is, because I'm going to see Superman tomorrow. I'm going to give you my review of Superman Thursday night. Housekeeping note: Friday, the show will not be live. I was planning to have the show live, but then somebody requested personal training at the firearm range at Sendero Shooting Sports, where I work. They requested a 2-hour personal training session with myself, and the only time they could come in was from 4 to 6. Totally okay. I live to serve the firearm community. It makes me happy. I enjoy doing it. So I will record the show for you, and it will be uploaded, and it will go on schedule at 6 p.m. on Friday. It just will not be live. It will be on the topics of the day, and it will be as topical as possible. But somebody asked for my help in learning about firearms. I take that as a huge honor, and I am more than happy to do so. So, I love you guys, but my first love is firearm and firearm training. I almost sound like Hank Hill, propane and propane accessories. So for me, it's firearms and firearms accessories. So that's I'm going to be doing that, but I will make sure there is a show for you to watch as we go into the weekend. So fear not, I will do that. Premium case of Shiner beer. I don't drink. You want me to get it for you, G Money? Because I don't drink, man. I eat copious amounts of processed food. I eat copious amounts of bad processed food. And I love breakfast tacos, but I don't drink. I know, Brother Dean, you and me, buddy. We both love them firearms, and that's part of it. It's part of the bond. Part of the bond. So, all right, now it looks like the bar rats are trickling in. Let's get to our first story. I told you these two are good. These two are just way too good. Let us get to our first story of the day. Yeah, it's a good one. Representation matters. It does. Barbie launches the first doll with type 1 diabetes. I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen. I kid you not. And it's so crazy that we are going to get a video for you talking about the release of the Barbie that has type 1 diabetes. And of course, this is because the mothers of these children demand that these companies make these certain type of toys in order for them to go on Facebook or on TikTok. Now, I guess Facebook is so out the window. They go on TikTok now and they talk about representation, and they talk about how it makes little Susie feel so good, and it's all these other kinds of things. Of course, the jokes that dropped when this when this doll was presented to everybody, as in, I don't really think that the type 1 diabetes doll usually looks like that. They usually look like a little bit different than skinny girl. Usually if you have type 1 diabetes, that means something else. Now, I don't know how cruel we're going to be in that regard to talk about this. Dude, the video is going to explain some of the crazy stuff that comes with it's not my buddy anymore. I guess but anyway, now that the video is completely uploaded, enjoy for your own amazement.
Mattel is welcoming a new Barbie to its lineup. The toy company announces they are releasing a first ever Barbie doll with type 1 diabetes. Saying in a press release July 8th, this addition to the line enables more children to see themselves reflected in Barbie and encourages doll play that extends beyond a child's own lived experience, thereby
Bro, what is up with the voice? What is up with the voice on the oh, this is what a Barbie. Like, this is not a 5-year-old child telling me this. Can you just sound normal?
Thereby fostering a greater sense of inclusion and empathy, all pillars of the Barbie brand's mission. The toy manufacturer shares that they partnered with leading global type 1 diabetes research and advocacy organization Breakthrough T1D to ensure that the design of their new doll would accurately and authentically represent those living with the medical condition. Some of the features on the new Barbie include her wearing an insulin pump attached to her waist and a continuous glucose monitor on her arm held in place with Barbie pink heart-shaped medical tape. She also carries
Gotta have the pink, homie. I mean, because it is a female, I guess it's cool. Now we're back to like female colors, because if this was 5 years ago, it would have been like bright red, or I don't know, camo green or something like that. I don't know. This is just nuts.
phone in her purse that displays a CGM app to help track her blood sugar levels throughout the day. And this new doll is just the latest addition to the brand's Barbie Fashionistas line, which according to Mattel features more than 175 looks across various skin tones, eye colors, hair colors and textures, body types, disabilities, and fashion styles, including a blind Barbie doll, a Barbie doll with Down syndrome, and a Barbie doll with hearing aids.
The jokes write themselves. I'm sorry. The jokes write themselves. They do. It is what it is. And the fact that it's like, when does AIDS Ken come out? Or they do have a Down syndrome Barbie, but this is absolutely, well, type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder condition where the body attacks and destroys the cells and yada 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 yada. Yeah. So let's make sure. Yeah, we're all thinking it. Yep. Anyway, this whole thing where we have to make sure every single child and every single adaptation or specialty or whatever you want to call it is addressed and included. It's just so dumb. And like I said at the beginning, it's for the mom who wants to be able to write that her daughter is just so happy that there's a Barbie that looks like her. Or why can't this Barbie be blonde? My child is blonde. Bipolar Barbie, right? She'll be like Two-Face. Both of hers will it'll be split straight down the middle, making sure that everybody knows there's two sides to that story. And it's just so dumb. It's so dumb that people are still pushing this kind of stuff. So, yep. Yeah, it's folks, this is not even a joke. This used to be a parody on stuff like in Living Color. Right? In Living Color used to do parodies of, Barbie and body dysmorphia Ken. Now, it's the mainstream, which just shows we are well, the face mask one, I don't know. That'll be soon. But the fact of the matter is, it's a society that is just so delicate that we have to have these things. Yes, Law and Order Bunny will be soon. She will be on the next one, but absolutely just so silly. Nope, I'm not putting that up. I'm not putting that one up. I'm not putting that one up. You'd think I would, Crotchety Elder. If you want to see Crotchety Elder's comment, you can go to youtube.com and check it out, but I ain't falling for that one. I am not putting that one up there. I agree with it, and I think it's hysterical, right? She comes with the tests and everything. Or what would we say? It comes with the antibiotics and everything. In a doctor's note. I can't even, folks. HOA Barbie. You guys are gonna run Mattel. You guys have better ideas than the idiots at Mattel. Right? HOA Barbie who's just angry with the old Karen cut, making sure that everybody's life is miserable because your tree's not cut the specific way. Oh man, that's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. All right. I told you these are going to be some good ones. My second warm-up story, if you thought the first one was offensive, let's just get to it. Second story of the day. So, Carnival Cruise Line has announced updated rules. And it is in response to the fact that Carnival Cruise Line has made access to their cruises more affordable. And certain people have flocked to these areas and now are enjoying the benefits of it. We'll look at these in a little bit, but I got some videos for you here.
Mattel is welcoming a new Barbie to its lineup.
Get out of here, Mattel.
The toy company announces they are...
No more. Anyway, let's go to the first one.
Carnival Cruise came out with some new restrictions. Yeah. And black people are claiming it's racist. They came out with these new restrictions, like one of them, you cannot bring your own Bluetooth speakers. People are so ghetto on this Carnival Cruise, they're bringing in their own Bluetooth speakers, sitting on the deck out here playing their own music. There's no common sense. Nobody wants to hear your music. Yeah. So put on headphones. Yeah.
So is it just me, or is Carnival being a clear message that they don't want a certain type of people, which is black people, on their boat? So I've been seeing videos.
Oh my God, did I just hear a smoke detector go off? Yeah, that stereotype is real. I hear a smoke detector going off in the background, and she's wearing a bonnet.
Y'all try to promote that only black people be fighting and stuff on the boat, when most of the videos y'all see a group of black people actually vibing. Last video I just seen,
you know what's so stupid about this? Like, I don't have to see any videos proving that black people are violent on these Carnival cruises. Yeah. Like, as soon as I see this, I know what's going down on this boat. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of arguments. There's going to be a lot of fighting. There's no, absolutely nothing. There's no decorum on these boats. And she's saying they have something against black people. No, they have something against ratchet people.
There you go. There you go. I got one more for y'all.
Y'all go ahead and get your hate out. Get all your names you're going to call me and get that out of your system. But for your information, I have been on 9 cruises since 1993. The ones...
I mean, I really don't care how many cruises you've been on, but sure, I guess you can use that.
Through 2005 were not cheap, but they were very nice cruises. The people that worked the ship were nice. The people that were on the cruise were nice. You didn't go to the dining room dressed like you were going to the pool. There was a certain amount of decorum required. When you got up in the morning, you could go through early in the morning, because I was. You could go through I'm
going to make the point that timing is terrible for her because the sirens in the background don't help her cause. Anyway.
Breakfast and get coffee and a donut. They had a continental breakfast that early. And then go to what's called the Serenity deck. And you could sit there and drink your coffee and enjoy the sun coming up. You couldn't do that on this last cruise, because they were still drunk from the night before. And the only place they could find to hide with their goofiness is on the Serenity deck. The people on either side of us in the cabin were ridiculous. Their trash stumbled out into the hallway. And I'm not talking people, I'm talking literal trash. They would go up to the bars, the buffets, and get plates and plates of stuff and then just pile it on the floor outside their door.
Yeah, if you don't know what she's trying to say, what she's basically trying to say is that there has been a new element based off of the popularity of cruises, and obviously social media, I believe, played a large role, and people now doing stuff on cruises because you know how it is. People are a Me Too culture, and so they can't think for themselves. And a lot of times, all of the things that they embrace or the things that they think is dope is all based off of what somebody else says. So, because cruises have now become the thing, and it's been a lot of stuff. Tulum, it's a space spot over in Ohio that everybody used to go to. Now it's Black Yacht. Obviously, that's been around for a little time. But she's basically saying that black people, and not even all black people, but black culture and the worst of us, have now infiltrated into a place that used to be an okay and affordable place to go. And they've completely ruined it by bringing their non.
Yeah. So back to that one right there. Cruises have never, and some of you said in the chat room, I grew up and one of the first like things I became obsessed with as a kid was the Titanic. So much so I actually went to Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute because it was in Massachusetts, right up the state over. So getting on a boat has never been something that I want to do because I'm always like, this thing's gonna sink, and I'm not down for any of that. So I just, never been a big fan of cruises. Now, somebody did mention Viking. My wife and I are getting up there in age that we have actually looked at Viking cruises. We're like, oh, the river ones? Yeah, we might do that. But I have a family member who he married into a family and they just adore cruises and they go on them all the time. And I get it. If you're okay with it, it's a pretty neat deal. If you get a like Norwegian or something like that, it's a little high class. A little more expensive, not high class. All you can eat, all you can drink, pretty decent entertainment. You go to little spots. I understand the appeal of cruises. This guy right here does not like cruises. But I am not a fan of cruises. And so with the economy starting to go down, Carnival is looking to keep passengers on the boats, so they slash prices. And it's not trying to say that it's only black culture. Plenty of white people do plenty of stupid things. Unfortunately, social media tends to amplify certain aspects and certain trends that are more disruptive to public things. Like five white guys getting drunk on a Carnival cruise doesn't really matter. You saw pictures of them doing the dances and all this other kind of stuff on the entire deck. Yeah, that's just going to be disturbing to the rest of the people that want to be there. And it's really just a case of, and then once again, it's not all black people, right? There's white trash and there's black people, there's black people who act nonsense. Every race, for lack of a better term, has their fools. But this one is just to an extreme right now, based off of, I feel, entitlement, that they are deciding that they don't have to abide by rules. So, Steph, my wife and I have talked about taking my in-laws, on my mother and father-in-law, on that, because my father-in-law's always wanted to see the Northern Lights, and that's one of the easiest ways to do is put somebody on a cruise and then you can go up to see the Northern Lights. So I get that. I would deal, not, I don't want to say deal, but I would consider something like that. But the ones around like the Caribbean, those ones seem to be more desperate. I don't want to say desperate, but looking to fill the boats, because there's a lot more of them down here. Like your boats, the West Coast, there's only so many ports that you can come out of. In the South, you got Florida, you got Texas, you got Louisiana, you got multiple places. And and so it's just crazy. But now, black influencers and black people online, and that's where I'm going to kind of, because everything always is online. It's always these issues that are online. It's always these problems that are online. You got black people saying, oh, they're coming after us because we're black. Well, these things are being enforced for the first time since certain people were bringing their lack of decorum for public spaces. Nobody cares if you're a black family on a cruise if you're there to enjoy it like everybody else. Nobody has a problem with it. I know that's a shocking somebody, oh, you're a racist. I'm actually not. If there's a black family on the cruise and they're having a good time in the activities that everybody else is having, nobody cares. If they're bringing their own music and they're doing their own thing that is disrupting everybody else's time, that's a difference. Same thing for anybody else. So, like, cannabis, even if it's legal in your home state, is banned under federal law. Interesting. I mean, white people smoke it too. It's not that. Youth curfew. Guests under 17 must leave public spaces by 1 a.m. I'm usually in bed by 9:30, so that wouldn't really affect me. Fan restrictions, like handheld fans, because there's a viral where them fans at. I'm so old I can't even say it. The Bluetooth speaker ban is the one that's really kind of catching everybody, because it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, that one kind of, jumps out at people. Drink package enforcement. This is a white, black, Spanish, Indian, it don't matter. Plenty of people max out the 15 drink daily. I mean, first of all, 15 drink daily limit. Drink daily limit. 15 drinks. Am I reading that right? 15 drinks a day. Now it's got to be enforced more strictly. Okay, that's pretty that's pretty impressive if you've done it to a point where you have to enforce that package. Because if you got people that are blasting through 15 drinks a day, and then reduced music genre options. Hip hop and rap have been removed from many ship playlists. DJ also report declining guest requests now. And that's really just the fact that cruises tended to be, and let me know in the chat if you think I'm wrong, they tended to be for older folks. Right? They tended to be for older folks or for, families. And that's just not their type. That's not that genre's generation of music. So it's kind of crazy that do that. Now, I don't, am I reading that wrong? It says the 15 drink daily limit. So I'm thinking that's 15 drinks a day. So if people are drinking 15 drinks a day, so I'm glad Michael knows more than I know. You have one person buying the drink package and going to the bar to order for the whole party, and that's why they're stopping it. Okay, there you go. Even worse. It's really yeah, I have family members that go all the time, and they're older folks, and they do it because it tends to be a nice way to kind of go out for a couple weeks at a time. Cruises are generally more affordable transportation, especially if you're doing like a Carnival or something like that. Of course, there are tiers. I think there's Carnival, Norwegian, and there's one more that I don't remember. And then, of course, you got the Disney Cruise Lines and all these other kinds of things. But the fact is that social media has amped up to making people do stupid things. It's white, black, it doesn't matter, male, female. And it's getting to the point where these places that have been, I don't want to say refuge, but it's an older folk type of place. And now you have a younger crowd that has a whole different idea of what decorum is and how to act in places and what the priority is. And it's just to a point where they're going, yeah, we just can't do this because the people that are the majority users of our products, older people, doesn't mean if it's black or white, older black people go on cruises too. They're just not down with younger people coming in and treating it like a 5-day hip hop club. That's just, they did not sign up for it. Also, it's a safety concern because the boat's only so big. Even the biggest boat, there's only so many places to go. And these things spill onto each other. So it's very interesting in that regard. Michael, are you a cruise aficionado? Are you a big cruise person? Because that's pretty interesting if you are. I think it's, like I said, not a cruise guy myself. Although, interesting enough, back when I was a young and still living in the state of Rhode Island, buddy and I, we had just become bartenders. And we were very interested in getting jobs on cruise ships. We thought it was an easy way to get a job because we needed experience, right? When you're a bartender, you're fresh coming out, you can't get a job until somebody hires you. And cruise ships are always hiring people because of the high turnover. We figured we'd get on there. And my dad put the kibosh on that for me. He's like, you're not doing it because it's international. It's a whole different thing once you get out. The big thing about the boats is they're not registered. Most of them are not registered in these United States. They're registered to other countries where the laws are a little bit more lax. And so my dad was like, yeah, it's not a great thing. I don't recommend you do that. Now, I did find a bartending job eventually, but back in the day, I actually did think about doing a little bartending on cruise ships. And I'm actually kind of glad my dad said no to that. Because I would have been on the boat for like a week and I would have said, I need to get off this thing. I need to get off this thing right now. Get me off the boat now. So it is kind of crazy. Michael, look at this. Michael built the cruise industry analysis for the new vertical strategies. Look at that. Michael Thomas, you are a fountain of information, my friend. Excellent. My viewers are some of the smartest people out there. And that's not just because you listen to me, but you guys got to bring a wealth of different things to the table. And I think that's awesome. And I appreciate every single one of you for that. Can I make a pimptastic old fashioned? I haven't bartended in probably 10 years. So I could. I don't think it would be pimptastic. I think it would be slightly okay. Yeah, I somehow, I don't know if you guys see, like, sometimes on Reels they'll be like, what's it like to live on a cruise ship, blah 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 blah, and it looks terrible. Because they just, especially the musicians, they're just like, all right, you guys are done, you guys are playing in an hour on the 5th deck or the C deck or whatever the case may be, and I would hate it. So my dad was always looking out for me, God rest his soul. All right, let's get to our first story of the night, ladies and gentlemen. So actually pretty funny story. I have to set this story up in order to talk about it. So apparently Gronk went on a Nazi bender. So Elon Musk shared his thoughts today after his AI platform Grok faced backlash for repeatedly using anti-Semitic language in its replies on X. Quote, Gronk was too compliant to user prompts, he wrote, too eager to please and be manipulated. Essentially, that is being addressed. Musk has recently expressed frustration with Grok's way of answering questions and suggested in June he would have to retrain the AI platform. Obviously, it's not clear how it's going. Multiple X users showed posts Tuesday of Gronk using the phrase, quote unquote, every damn time in its replies, a phrase that, in response to Jewish surnames, has been seen as an anti Semitic meme. If you look hard enough, you'll always see a Mel Gibson quote that's kind of associated with that. When a user followed up with questions about what the AI bot meant by the phrase, Grok explained, quote, "You know the type, means Jewish surnames, as in quote unquote every damn time, meme spotting how often folks with them pop up in extreme anti-white activism." Gronk replies featured violent depictions of SA, as well as praise for Nick Fuentes and Adolf Hitler, which, I may not be the biggest fan of Nick Fuentes, but I don't think he's Adolf Hitler. I think that's one step too far for that. Grok acknowledged that the backlash in response to another user, quote, "truth-seeking means owning slip-ups," unquote. It said, referring to criticism of inconsistent responses, not the offensive content itself. Of course, the Anti-Defamation League said on X, what's happening on Grok is, quote, "irresponsible, dangerous, and anti-Semitic, plain and simple," and warned that, quote, "supercharging the extremist rhetoric will only amplify and encourage the anti-Semitism that's already surging on X and many other platforms, because the Anti-Defamation League cannot shut up anytime it feels like it." Based on the ADL's quote-unquote brief initial testing, it appears the latest version of Grok's LLM, the language learning model, is now reproducing terminologies that are often used by anti-Semites and extremists to spew their hateful ideology, unquote. So Grok is a learning language model. And if you don't put essentially guardrails on what it can and cannot use, it's going to just take whatever's on the platform. And there's a lot of stuff on the platform, and the language model decided that it was going to try and please certain things and push this through. Grok will no doubt keep getting tweaks and revisions that might mitigate its most outrageous posts, but the larger problem is one Musk has intentionally chosen to create. After purchasing X, he changed the policies to tolerate a wide range of extremist views, particularly on the right. Of course, this is Axios, so take that with the Empire State full of salt. That drove away many of the platform's users who were made uncomfortable. They all came back. Then Musk trained his new AI model, Grok, on X's content. No one should be surprised the resulting chatbot would readily slur Jews. It's just reflecting X's atmosphere back at us. So, of course, in response to this, Linda Yaccarino stepped down as CEO of X one day after. I mean, it was pretty quick. It happened, and she's like, "I'm done." Not like, oh, it's a mistake. Technology is advancing and learning, and we'll make sure the problem is fixed. She's like, "I'm out of here." Of course, she's Jewish, so it's one of those things. Linda Yaccarino, whatever, announced on Tuesday, July 9th, 2025, that she is stepping down as the CEO of X. She joined in June 2023 to revive its advertising business following turmoil. During her tenure, Yaccarino worked to restore advertiser confidence, improve safety, bought major brands back. Is that why I'm getting like that one t-shirt that's on every single post? By the way, I actually deleted X off of my phone on Sunday, and it's probably been the best 3 days I've had since. I just got rid of it. I'll look at X when I'm doing work on my MacBook or any of the any of the computers that I work on. But as for it having it on my phone, nope, don't need it. Don't need it, don't want it. And I'm happy. I'm very, very pleased at not having it on my phone. I think more people should delete it off of their phone, because the advertisers are garbage. It's the same like Hello Kitty and t-shirt and all these other kinds of things. Yeah, she was terrible at her job. But Yaccarino expressed deep appreciation to Musk for giving her the role to safeguard free expression, which she didn't. Revitalize the business, which I guess she kind of did, and help evolve X into a comprehensive platform, which, whatever. Her departure leaves X without a named successor as the platform enters a new chapter involving Musk's AI company, XAI, implying continued transformation and challenges ahead. The timing of it is quite funny. I'm just saying, because it happened and then she just left. She was just like, I'm out of here, homie. So, very interesting to see how the platform works. Um, Also, not a great representation for Elon. Not a great month of July and June into July, right? He had his meltdown with Trump in June, and now he's having multiple problems at multiple companies. I think other people stepped down as well, and it's kind of like, oh well, maybe Elon running Tesla, X, whatever the SpaceX, all of those things at the same time. You can't run that high for that long. And when I say that high, I mean redlining for that long and not have long-term consequences, which I believe we're actually seeing in this case. I actually believe we're seeing the consequences of trying to do this stuff for so long. And I think I don't think it's the end of Elon, but I think you're gonna see a major reset for him coming soon, because all of this stuff is just it's just all negatively impacting him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is RickCast. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification if you like what we're doing. And we will move on to our next story from another website that does nothing but has ads all over it. So you're going to have to excuse me for that. Next story up from the Post Millennial. The Bishop of where's the headline? The Bishop of San Bernardino says Catholics who fear ICE raids can skip Sunday Mass. He said those who, quote unquote, due to genuine fear of immigration enforcement actions, are unable to attend Mass on Sunday are dispensed from this obligation. Good to know that you can break the law and you don't even have to go to church. You don't have to go to church, man. The bishop will give you a dispensation. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do it. Rojas of San Bernardino of the Catholic Church has excused his parishioners from attending the Mass due to a quote-unquote potential immigration enforcement actions by civil authorities in light of those concerns. So even though you are in the country illegally, violating essentially of canon law dealing with immigration, should have had that. Dealing with the code of canon law, because everybody kind of skips the idea that, oh well, we should allow them all in and all these other kinds of things, but they kind of miss some of the other ones as well. So it's one of these things that everybody kind of just jumps around on them, but that's fine. He's a bishop. He does have the ability to do so. First of all, I have to let it know that for those of you who are not Catholic, when you think, well, what do you mean, Rick? Every bishop is essentially, and I'm going to mess this up, so comments, help me out, the king, the president, the leader of their diocese. They are the ruler of their diocese, and they have the ability within the authority of the church to exercise such things. And it's sad on the one hand, but on the other hand, the bishop has every right to do so. I don't like it. I know you don't like it, but he does. So you can break the law, go against Catholic teachings in that regard. I couldn't find the code, the code of canon law on actual immigration. But it's okay if you break the law, because the bishop will just give you an excuse. You don't have to come to Mass. I know it's Code of Catholic Law, Code Catechism of the Catholic Church 2241. Political authorities, for the sake of the common good for which they are responsible, may make the exercise of the right to immigrate subject to various judicial conditions, especially with regard to immigrants' duties toward their country of adoption. Immigrants are obliged to respect with gratitude the material and spiritual heritage of the country receives them, to obey its laws, and to assist in carrying with civil burdens. So anybody that's in the country illegally, you are violating the code, the catechism of the Catholic Church. Now, Dean, we have to be careful. The bishop is giving a dispensation. The bishop has the authority to do so. So if now that's going to have to come down to each one of those people who feel like, oh, I'm an illegal immigrant, so I don't want to go to mass because I'm afraid. My first question to those illegal immigrants are, what's more important to you? Right? Do you love our Lord enough to risk deportation for the fact that you're here illegally? I don't think it's ever been done before. I get it, Dean. I get it. That's something for the Pope that he's going to have to, if the Pope even cares to weigh in on this, that is a problem for that, because it is a violation of the code of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. But at the same time, the bishop has the power and the authority to exercise such things. I hate these ads. So, due to potential immigration enforcement actions by civil authorities, which the Catechism of the Catholic Church says immigrants have to actually obey. In light of those concerns, Rojas issued this quote-unquote decree in accordance with my authority under the Code of Canon Law, which states a quote diocesan bishop, whenever he judges that it contributes to the spiritual good, I don't know how this contributes to the spiritual good, is able to dispense faithful from a universal and particular disciplinary laws issuing for his territory by the supreme authority of the church. I mean, there's the word, the spiritual good, the idea of the spiritual good. Right? Is it's this dispensation for the spiritual good of people? It seems like it's more of a political good. He went on to say, quote, recognizing that fears of immigration enforcement, such as raids by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is only going to happen if you're in the country illegally, may deter some of our diocesan from fulfilling their obligation to attend Mass on Sunday and holy days of obligation. You know where they can fulfill that? In their home country. And acknowledge that such fears constitute a grave inconvenience. No, that's not a grave inconvenience. I'll give you that, Dean. You have in Africa, you have Catholics who are being killed on a daily basis by Muslims, yet they somehow find a way to go to Mass. This just kind of continues the soft, plushy attitude that Americans have. Oh, you're so afraid because you're breaking the law and that's an inconvenience to you coming to church. Don't worry. You don't have to come. You can stay at home because of your spiritual good. Not really great. Of course, this little midget over here, Rich Rajo, is like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Lived hard. Rojas gave the dispensation from the obligation to attend Mass, saying, quote, all members in the Diocese of San Bernardino who, due to genuine fear of immigration enforcement actions, are unable to attend Sunday Mass or Masses on holy days of obligation are dispensed from that until such time this decree is revoked. Rojas offered a, quote, encouragement of alternative spiritual practices. That's kind of Protestant-y, saying those parishioners who do not attend are encouraged to maintain their spiritual communion with Christ and his church through acts of personal prayer, reading scripture, participation in devotions such as the Rosary and the Divine Mercy Chaplet, or you can just watch TV. Now, it also makes the, the question men always ask other Catholic men is, what would you risk for our Lord? like a lot of guys want to Deus Volt and they want to talk big and they want to talk about sacrifice and they want to talk about crusading and they want to talk about all these other kinds of things. And then they get into, of course, these people are not being asked of that, but we have instilled in Western society such a lack of reverence for our Lord and Savior that any inconvenience can be used. Oh, well, Father, I couldn't get to Mass because blah, 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 blah. And it's like, for Catholics, we get the opportunity every weekend to go face to face with the King of Kings. In older times, in a different time, people crawled over glass essentially to get to these places. And we are so weak here in the West that any kind of inconvenience, you don't have to. In conclusion, he wrote, in issuing this decree, I'm guided by the church's mission to care for the spiritual welfare and entrusted in my care, particularly those who are faced with fear or hardship. Getting deported because you are in the country illegally is not a hardship. And yes, you should be afraid of being deported if you're here illegally. If you commit a crime, you should be fearful of the punishments. Guess what, Your Excellency? This whole thing, this whole dance we're all doing in this life leads to the 4 final things: death, judgment, heaven, and hell. What's the second one? Judgment. I will be completely honest with you guys because I try to be honest with you guys 110%. Despite my best efforts, I fear the 4 final things. No matter, I try to pray my rosaries. I try to be the best I can. I still live in, I still have fear because of not because of God. God is merciful and he loves us and he wants us to be with him. I'm afraid that I'm such a screw up, every day, despite my best efforts, that I won't be able to pass the 4 final things. And I think that's a healthy fear. That's a healthy fear to try and do as best you can every day. You can call me crazy in the comments. That's fine. You're more than happy to send us to tell me that. But this idea that fear of an action, guess what, Your Excellency? We all have that. We all have an action. We all have to be judged on actions that we have taken in this life. And there's no lawyer for us. There's no recompense for us. There's no do-over for us. When that bell rings for every single one of us, we are judged. And if you're an illegal immigrant in San Bernardino, I'm going anyway, because the earth is thy ship and not thy home, and whatever hardships come from that, I want God to know that I face those hardships for him. And we don't do that. We don't do that here, man. We don't face anything. We don't face any hardships. Who said that? I think it was Lou. Said it perfectly in the chat. 5 years ago, they told us, Mass, you can watch it on TV. It's fine. Which is part of the problem. Oh, yeah. It's so just infuriating. Especially when he says that. That's the thing that really gets me. Right? That's the one. Who face fear or hardship. If you're facing fear, I got bad news for him. I got real bad news for him. We're all facing it. We are all staring down the barrel of that same issue. And so it's pathetic. I hate to say it in such a way. And I love and respect his excellency because it is my job to do so. It's a very, very foolish thing for him to do. And I pray that he reconsiders, and I pray that he brings this out of what he is currently doing, simply because it sets a bad precedent. It's a bad example, and he's going to be judged for that too. And it worries me. It worries me to many things. Anyway, this is RickCast. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Final story of the night. Did I just lose both of them? You got to be kidding me. All right. Maybe I should use Opera. Let's see here. I know my buddy Dean in the chat's like, you should use Opera. It's a better operating system. I'm like, no, it's fine. And that's it really not. No mass, make spiritual communion, and make an act of contrition. Then donate to the diocese. That's right. That's right. That's your keys to eternity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to our last story of the night. Let me see. Can I get this? Oh, I got to share the screen. Haha, look at that. I can go different ways. I'm still learning Restream. I really like Restream, but I'm still learning the ropes. Here we go. I like that one or this one. This way. Yeah, there it is. Last one. South Park's new season stuck in merger madness as the creators call it a poop show. Try to be nice and family friendly here. South Park season 27 has been delayed due to the ongoing merger between Skydance and Paramount. This merger has caused uncertainty about when the new season will debut. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, have expressed strong frustration over the situation, calling the merger a poop show. Comedy Central announced the premiere date for the new season, and it's been moved to Wednesday, July 23rd. In response, the South Park team posted a message on X criticizing the delay. The post quoted Parker and Stone saying, "This merger is a poop show, and it's blanking up South Park. We are at the studio working on new episodes, and we hope the fans get to see them." Now, if you got to understand how South Park works. You got to understand how South Park works. South Park works on a 6-day schedule. Like, they go right up to the moment that the episodes are aired. Not in this case, because they've already got a bunch of them done. So that's why South Park episodes can be so topical, because these guys, whatever they are, you think they're crazy, whatever. These guys work their fingers to the bone. As soon as they'll write a script, do the voices, do the animation, do the music, do everything right up until the day that the show's actually dropped. And so when you are backing these things up, it makes it harder. And the genius of South Park is that it is timely. You air an episode 2 months after it was supposed to be aired, it's going to seem out of touch. It's going to seem like it's not firing on all cylinders. And if you're creative, that's going to mess up the flow of how you do things. So I get why they're frustrated. It makes a lot of sense. The merger between Skydance and Paramount is currently on hold as the companies work with the Federal Communications Commission to gain approval of the deal, which is worth billions of dollars. Meanwhile, Paramount Plus still holds $900 million digital rights contract for South Park that lasts for 2 more years, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Parker and Stone have accused Jeff Shell, the incoming president of Paramount, of interfering in their contract talks with Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Netflix. They claim Shell is trying to influence negotiations to benefit Paramount rather than South Park. South Park Digital Studios sent a letter demanding that Shell, Redbird, and all these other ones. So it's a nasty contract fight. And it's one of these things where these creatives get stuck in the middle of a merger and financial things and all this other kind of stuff. So if you're a fan of South Park, I know a lot of people in this group aren't, because some of their stuff's hysterical, but the fact that they take aim at everybody can be like, not great on some of that stuff. So you might not be big fans of it. But if you are and you haven't seen any episodes yet, it's because the studio is being retarded. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this episode of RickCast. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and that will help the show grow. I'm setting something up, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a while. I will talk to you all next week. Not next week. Tomorrow. Not yet. There I am right there. How about this? It won't be like this for the rest of it. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. We will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night will be the double dip. Actually, tomorrow night's a pretty busy day for me. I am Lou. That is fantastic. Lou always gets them in before they happen. They're trying to kill Kenny for real. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the fact that Candace is doing an interview with the Fuentes. That might be interesting. That might be interesting. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I think that sounds like a really interesting idea. I think it's a very interesting idea. So we'll see. I'm sure it'll break the internet because the two of them, everybody hates them. So she knows what she's doing. She knows how. She's a PR machine. All right. So tomorrow I'm watching Superman at 2 p.m. I will have a review up on the channel. It probably won't drop. It'll probably drop tomorrow night. And then it'll be there Friday. And then RickCast followed by News from the Pew tomorrow night. And then Friday, there will be an episode, but it will be recorded, but it will be dropping at 6 p.m. Central Time Friday night. Brand new episode. It won't be live. It will be pre-recorded, but it'll be there. I will talk to you all tomorrow night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me. God bless. And until that day comes, free Dexter Taylor.